Hey, it's Wednesday. It's my birthday, actually. I'm 49 today. Hee. Well, I will be when this video first comes out. Obviously, maybe you're watching this later, so I might be older. Anyway, but yeah, I'm here to go through some of my comics again. Right, now, I've done all these ones on the top shelf. I've done the ones that were up there. I was thinking of doing these ones at the bottom shelf because they're all unsorted. And I get a feeling that some of these probably should have been on the top shelves, but were never sorted out. But I've already done one video of some new purchases that I did today. So what I'm going to do, one stack from there. I was thinking of doing two, but I'll stick to one stack. That stack there, I'm going to go all the way through that. The leftmost stack, I'm going to go through all of them now. Okay, so there's the pile. Let's go through it and see what wonders it has within. Okay, starting off, we've got this book, Trinity. The Big Three, Superman, Batman and Wonder Woman. Pretty sure this is a weekly book. I think it ran after like 52 maybe. No, I think it was Countdown and then, oh yeah, something like that. 52, then it was Countdown maybe. And then it was Trinity. I think they kind of carried on. I think this is, if I recall properly. Anyway, run from 2008. Yes, it's a weekly book. June the 4th, June the 11th. Busiek was the writer. Bagley the artist, was it? But basically, the big guns of the DC universe. Usually it's hard to get the camera to show up the covers nicely. I forgot most of it in. Maybe the very bottom edge isn't showing up on the picture very well. Look, these ones carry on from each other by the looks of it. Actually looking at them now. There we go. That's the first three books. Nice little run there. Nice little collage, you call that? I can't remember. What do you call it on the side? But I don't know. If it's not collage. Collage is made up of different textures, isn't it? But diorama, perhaps? Is it called a diorama? I'm not too sure. But yeah, three pictures making up the whole picture. I'm not sure who that big foe is that they're battling there. I can't recall his name. But yeah, the guys are handling him. By saying that though, looking at Batman now, his strength of a normal person, I don't see how he could possibly hold that rope around the guy's arm when Superman is struggling and Wonder Woman is struggling. But I love Batman as a character, but I do struggle with his move set and whatever. Just jumping off a building with just a blinking batarang on a rope to save you from dashing below into the concrete is always not really sat well with me. Catwoman's worse though. Catwoman's just got like a whip that she just whips around blinking flagpoles and stuff like that, and to swing from like 50 stories high. Just like, yeah, I always thought that was a little bit daft, to be honest. But you have to suspend your disbelief, don't you, with superheroes? A bit upset with the book. These books got a little bit of crinkling along the top edge. It's annoying. Number 9. Should have all of them, but as does sometimes happens, the comic book store will occasionally mess up your order, because I used to collect them like once a month or something like that. I'd go into the shop because I didn't live near to the shop later on, and you didn't necessarily, because there were so many books as well, you didn't always twig that you missed a copy. Missed one, you start reading a new comic and you go, this doesn't ring a bell, and then so bits would come up and you thought, oh, maybe I just forgot what the story was, and then not till you look at your books again properly later on that you realise that you barely missed an issue, and that's why it didn't make any sense back in the day. I like the logo. I've just noticed as well, the logo is on a revolving kind of who's on top, if you know what I mean. So you got Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman at the back there, and you got Batman at the front, Superman, then Wonder Woman, then you got Wonder Woman front and centre, Batman. Yeah, so it kind of, I did not notice that at the time, I've got to say. I did not. Maybe I'm a little bit dim. Yeah, no, I know I'm a little bit dim. There's no maybe about it, but yeah, I didn't notice. Is that Owlman is fighting there? from the Earth. I'm not sure. Is it Earth 3? Where the Legion of Super Criminals is? Isn't that one of your nice crossover covers? It's another thing you don't realise. I definitely didn't realise this. Unless you bought the books all at the same time, which I would never have done, because I collected them as often as I could monthly. I wouldn't necessarily... Mind you, these were weekly books, weren't they? But I don't remember noticing this back in the day. But they do make a nice... let's see if we can get it all in. They do make a nice picture there. There we go. Some cool artwork. It's another one with the book should have gone side by side again. Do this quite a lot in this. I'll try and show you the full picture. Let's get that other one back off the pile. There you are. There's the full picture of the Trinity. The three mightiest heroes in the DC universe. Side by side. Statue of Batman, looks like he's been shot up a bit. And we got a statue of Superman suffering similar levels of damage. I don't know what occurred there. And then Wonder Woman, oh, she's got a leg knocked off. It looks like there's a statue to them in the future that maybe have been vandalised or something like that, or who knows. Crime wave swamps Gotham. Cat people attack city. And we have Green Arrow and some kind of protege by the looks of it. Not too sure what her name is. Not Speedy, is it? She's his new Speedy, maybe. I'm not too sure. Ares invades DC, and Black Adam seems to be battling them. Ultra Humanite terrorizes Metropolis, and I think that's Tomorrow Woman on the front there, beating up some kind of robotic menace. I think that's Morgana Le Fay, that villainess there on the front. I believe it is. I could be mistaken. Sure wouldn't be the first time that I was mistaken, that's for sure. Is this one crossover? No, these two crossover here though. Not too sure who that guy is, but it does appear to be some kind of supernatural menace. Once again, it makes up a nice diorama. I'm going with diorama. It may not be the right word. But there you go. Some cool looking pictures. $28. Is this another one of those? Yeah, side by side ones. Wow, I didn't realise how often they did that in this run. I'm getting better at picking them up though. I think a couple of times in some of the books I looked at in the past, I've not noticed the fact that they should be viewed side by side to get the full picture. So, there you go. Get a nice look at them. Not quite sure what's going on there. Definitely a bit of a statue theme going on. These statues have featured across a few of the books. Oh, I get the feeling this is another one of those side-by-side dioramas. There you go. Is there a third one in this sequence? No, just two in that one. That makes a change. Looking good though. Not sure about Batman's ankle. It's my imagination, or was his ankle turned a little bit too much? No, I don't know. Interesting. Is that Criminals versus Justice League there? I'm thinking that's a Reverse Flash or Professor Zoom rather than one of the good guys at the front there. Plastic Man and Martian Manhunter. Looks like they're fighting Morgana Le Fay, Solomon Grundy, Joker. As I say, he's either Reverse Flash or Professor Zoom. So these now oh, they do go across. I've just noticed. They do go across because there you go. Plastic Man's neck is stretching from one book to the next. Yeah, it does go over there. For some reason I was thinking it didn't match up, but it does match up. There you go, got Cheetah. I don't know how to put this as indelicately as possible, as delicately as possible, but Cheetah has one bosom on one side of the panel and the other bosom, well no, one breast. The bosom is the pair, isn't it? Oh dear, I've turned this into a bad biology lesson. Anyway. There we go. Alright. These ones too can go side by side. We have a set of stained glass windows featuring the awesome Trinity. When you say the Trinity, you think of the Father, the Son and the Holy Ghost. But it's not that kind of Trinity. Although for comic book fans it kind of is. So what would she be? The warrior, the bat and the, I don't know, the flying Kryptonian. Doesn't quite ring, roll off the tongue quite as easily. I suppose he could be the sun, as in the son of Krypton. Oh hello, have we got some kind of alternate Earth Trinity going on here, or an Elseworld Trinity? These could be like DC 1 million or something like that, I'm not too sure. But these ain't the Trinity your parents knew about. This is a different Trinity. Yeah. So annoyed I can't get this camera really nicely lined up to get them in. It's either too high or too low. Oh, that's looking a bit better. There's that future or Elseworlds Wonder Woman again. And the future or Elseworld Superman. And I believe you're looking at those, they're in that Earth 3 again, is it? I think it's Earth 3, I can't remember now. But with the Legion of Supervillains. I can't remember what they're called, there's a different name for them. You know, the ones where the hero, basically everyone's a villain, basically. Wonder Woman is Superwoman in that world, I think. Ultraman, I believe, is Superman's counterpart. And Owlman is Batman's counterpart. Nice looking books. There we go, and there's the free alternate world Trinity. Charging into action. It's like another alternate universe Trinity. And those look more like the Batman, Superman and Wonder Woman that we're used to seeing. I think this whole run's been done by Busiek and Bagley. Who's that flamey faced fellow there? There you go. Whoever he is, our heroes are ready for him. Yeah, and as I remembered correctly, this was a weekly book that ran for a year. And here we have number 52, the last one. It's got a pull out cover. So you get the full glory of the Trinity bursting into action. Very cool book. Right, the rest of the pile I've had to flick it over because I had it running from like the last number to the first number. So I flipped it over so we go first number to last number. But basically it's a whole collection, I think possibly the whole of the run of Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. Starting with the annuals then, from 1991, this is the first annual, Jewel. 92, Vows by O'Neill. That first one's got a Poirot art, he's well known, but because it's got a different number of creators on that first one, so I'm assuming different people did different stories, the artwork, but Poirot is quite a familiar name to Bat fans, a classic artist, I think from the 70s, I think. Right, Vows, I think that must be when Gordon married, what was her name? I can't remember her name, she gets killed in No Man's Land later. Can't remember what her name is though. Bit of a sad. And another sad thing, one of the annuals is missing, that's so annoying. Oh, the third annual from 93 is missing. Damn. We've got the Elseworlds annual, number 4, Citizen Wayne. And then number 5, Wings, Legends of the Dark Knight. Batman versus Man-Bat. Okay, number 6, Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, Legends of the Dead Earth. I think that was an event that went over all the annuals, Legends of the Dead Earth. I think it was imagined it being in the future quite some way. Alright, then we've got Pulp Heroes, the annuals from 1997, reimagined all the superheroes in the pulp hero era, so like the 30s, you know, Doc Samson and those kind of people. But yeah, Batman Legends of the Dark Knight annual. My Greatest Adventure. Got a bit of damage on this one actually, a bit annoying. The bottom staple has come away. Yeah, it's a shame. Alright, here we go then. Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. Collector's Special apparently. I think I saw someone's video the other day about this issue. The first new solo Batman book since 1940. This is before Shadow of the Bat came out a little while later, I think. But yeah, Batman was the previous book before it was a solo Batman story. But I think that this book's come in like different variant colour backgrounds. It's from November 1989. Wow, I've been only 20 then. Oh, such a young little boy I was. Anyway, so yeah, apparently they come in different colours. I seem to have got the pink one. Yeah, okay. I'm not worried about that, but I think I could think of a more macho colour, but yeah, it hardly matters. It's just the colour. It looks nice though anyway. But yeah, you don't get much pink in Batman books. It's probably rarer actually, being pink. But yeah, so Legends of the Dark Knight was a really cool book actually. It was just basically different stories from Batman's timeline, like little self-contained. I think there were 4-parters mainly, and there are some nice, good, interesting story arcs contained in Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. I would recommend it actually. I would recommend picking up them if you haven't got them already, if you can afford them. I don't think they're that expensive. I can't imagine they got hiked in price or anything. These were just £1 when I bought them. Just £1. It's quite interesting as well. They've got no... Oh, is it £150 and £185? Oh yeah, it is in Canada and USA, I suppose. Got no UK price on it because I never did. They had like a little converter up in the shop normally. Oh, part 4 of 5. So this is a 5-parter, Shaman. Some interesting artwork. Nice. I like them. They're quite bold. Nice bold title. Nice bold border. And then a picture in the middle. Is that picture? Yeah, it's a face, like degenerating as they go on. Like there's like masks within masks or something. Like maybe that's Batman's face breaking out of a mask of. I'm wondering if this is a variant cover, and the first cover would have been more just that without Batman's face breaking out of it, and then Batman's face breaks out of it. Then it breaks open, and there's Bruce Wayne inside. That breaks open again to reveal the skull beneath the skin, and inside the head, inside the skull, inside the very being of Bruce Wayne, Batman is the top dog. So it's kind of like showing that Batman is Batman. Bruce Wayne is this mask that Batman wears, not the other way around. I think that's pretty sure what the story was getting at. Bit of a price hike there. Just noticed it went from £1 to £1.35. Disgraceful. Mind you, that says Dublin there. So maybe it was €1.35. I must have bought this later on from another shop or something. Right, so the next 5-parter goes by the name of Gothic. Gotham City has always been about being Gothic, hasn't it? The architecture of Gotham City is a character all its own. And this is a story by Grant Morrison. One or two of you may have heard of this chap. I believe he's written 1 or 2 other books in the past as well. Carrying on with Grant Morrison's run of little 5-parter Gothic. Batman has made a truly grisly discovery there. Some bodies hanging upside down. Now, has he been tied to the railway tracks here, or has he been knocked over by rats, or what? But he certainly shouldn't be lying there if he intends to live. Okay, the next story up we have Doug Moench. I'm not sure how I pronounce it. Why is it that comic creators have so often got difficult to pronounce names? Doug Moench. I'll go Doug Moench. There you go. Prey. And look, on the back of this comic, there's an advert for Stephen King Graveyard Shift. Coming soon from Paramount Pictures. I do like the adverts on comic books. I said it before. It's like a little time capsule looking at the adverts that are inside the books. It sort of takes you back to a time of new movies and games that you didn't know before. For some reason, this is quite a cover that stuck in my mind for some reason. I don't know. I looked at that, and as soon as I looked at it, I thought, yeah, that looks familiar. I wondered if it was used on anything else, or maybe it came up in something else. I don't know. But I just looked at it. I thought, oh, yeah, that really rings a bell for me. That picture does. I think that's Dr. Hugo Strange there in the background. Quite a cool character. There we've got another film advert on the back here. Clint Eastwood, Charlie Sheen in The Rookie. Clint still looking reasonably young there. There you go. Part 4 of 5 of Prey. Okay, number 15, the last part of Prey. I think I remember now. I think it's about another vigilante that comes into the fold, and Batman ends up, I think, opposing him, because I think he may have had like lethal. I don't know what you call it. Lethal way of doing things. And so Batman opposed him. I think this may be from the timeline when Batman still wasn't friendly with the police, because at the end of the last cover we saw him surrounded by cops, and because I say this goes backwards and forwards in time a fair bit, introducing new things to the character, which later became part of proper continuity, that kind of thing. So yeah, but it's cool the way it jumps backwards and forwards to different periods of Batman's. That's why they're legends. The legends of the Dark Knight. That's why they're able to go backwards and forwards in stories. Right, there's Dennis O'Neil. This is Venom, about the drug Venom. I can't remember if this comes before we see Venom with Bane. I think it may do, you know. I think Venom came first as a story. This is March 1991. When did Bane come about? Was he 93 that we first learnt about Bane? Because when Venom first is discovered, Batman actually becomes a user. Batman sees the advantages of having extra strength. I think I remember now. I think there was a girl trapped under rubble or something, and Batman wasn't strong enough to shift the rubble, and she was drowned. It was like a sunken room or something like that, and he was admonishing himself about not being strong enough, and he discovers this drug Venom, and he's like, well, this will make me stronger, this will give me the extra oomph I need in situations where the extra power would go down well. But as you can see from this next cover, pretty cool cover, Venom has not done him well. He's turned into a drug addict probably. Look, he's got the venom pills spilling out on the ground there. His cowl is like hung up, and he's not shaved for a while. There's nothing wrong with not shaving, of course. I sport a beard like that myself. but Batman's not been known for his hirsute face. Yeah. There you go. Batman's fighting a shark. I think that's when he goes to the island where Bane was originally held in prison. Pretty sure he goes there to discover the source of the venom. Is it Santa Prisca, the name of the island? There you go. We've had a little increase in cover price as well. It's gone up from 150 to 175, and from 185 in Canada to 225. Boo! We don't like price increases. And that's the last story, last one of that 5-story arc, Venom. And we have a new story arc beginning by Mike W. Barr, with art by Bart Sears, I'm assuming that is. Randy Elliott, what's he do, colouring or something? But it's called Faith, this one. And this is where there's like a team, kind of like the Guardian Angels from New York, from the old subways. They've got the same red berets on there, but they're following Batman, they're following the Bat. They're vigilantes. Basically vigilantes. I think at first Batman approves of them, and he wants to sort of lead them and help them to fight crime alongside him. But then I think they too do something that makes him realise that perhaps it's not best to have them fighting crime alongside him. I think they may have gone the old bit too vicious kind of route. Carrying on the Faith storyline, Batman has got a bat of his own. And that was only a 3-parter as well, I've just noticed. Faith was a 3-parter. It had been 5 parters up to this point. And there's another 3-parter here, Flyer. This actually, thinking back on this story, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Court of Owls. I'm pretty sure the guy in that Flyer costume is like, I don't know, genetically altered, or I know from birth he was raised to be this monster. You can see him here in the next cover here, Flyer. Yeah, he's not in tip-top condition, the guy, but he's just kind of like reminiscent of the assassins of the Brotherhood of the Owl, or the Owl Syndicate. Yeah, I didn't really like the Owl Syndicate story, to be honest, when that came about. That was towards the end of my comic collecting days, actually, and I kind of thought that whole Owl Syndicate story was a bit rubbish, to be honest. I wasn't really impressed with it. But here, that little story arc was by Howard Chaykin, with art by Gil Kane. Yes, a name that is well spoken of in the old circles of Bat fans. Okay, Destroyer 2 it says there, but it's the first part of the story. Bonus feature, Gotham City Visions by Anton Furst. It's an interesting cover. And then we've got, so that's a 1-parter by the looks of it. I don't know why it says 2 on it though. In the R there, it's 26. This one is 26, and this one is 27. It looks like it's just a 1-parter, unless it carried on from another book somehow. I'm not too sure. Anyway, and then we have another story arc, Matt Wagner, Faces. Part 2. So Matt Wagner done art plus the story. I think he's does art as well, because he does that Grendel, doesn't he? Does he do art and story on Grendel? So I'm assuming he's done, because he's the only name on the cover. Alright, and there's part 3. Batman facing off against Two-Face. Right, then we have another solo issue, Family. Is that about the Bat family, maybe? Robin and Nightwing and Batwoman and so forth? Or was it about his own family's past, the Wayne family, maybe? And then we have another 3-parter, Blades. Is that... No, that's smoke. I was thinking that was damage for a second, but that's smoke there from the chimney stack. Another interesting advert on the back of this one. Batman Returns, June 19. Michelle Pfeiffer, she was rather hot as Catwoman. Quite a cool Catwoman costume as well, actually. That stitched up one. Yeah, Blades, part 2 of 3 by James Robinson. I think it might have featured the Cavalier. I think may have been the name of the protagonist or antagonist. I think it's antagonist. Here's the conclusion anyway. I think he might have been the Cavalier, but looking at his mask now, I don't think he looks like a Cavalier, so maybe he wasn't. But I think he might have come in originally pretending to be another hero for Gotham, but on the side he was doing robberies. I think that was the story. Could well be mistaken. And this one here, Legends of the Dark Knight, looks like it could be an Elseworlds kind of tale. Because that looks like Batman the Viking. Yeah, Sven Wayne or something like that. Just a 2-parter, with the second part of the story looking like it's got nothing to do with the other first part from the cover. Maybe this is a historical thing and actions of the past affected Batman Bruce Wayne in the future, maybe. It's like toxic sludge he's dealing with. Right, here we have Mercy. I think she was out for revenge. I think she was another vigilante. Can't remember too much what happened in the story. I think she'd been abused or raped or something like that, or her sister had been killed. Maybe I'm getting confused with Dirty Harry movie. I kind of get a feeling it was a similar story. She was out for revenge for, I think it may have been a friend of hers who was killed and raped, I think, and she bulked up and learned how to fight and was out for justice. I think maybe she may have been another one of those ones who was a little bit too OTT with her methods, and I don't think Batman shut her down in the end. I'm not too sure. Then we have Legend of the Dark Might by Alan Grant and Kev O'Neill. Kev O'Neill's awesome, crazy art. His art is terrible. It's not terrible. It's terrible, but not in a terrible sense of it being bad, but terrible as in the things that he depicts are terrible to comprehend. They're terrific in the proper sense of the word terrific, as in they can inspire terror. Look at that. Look at that Batman there. Look at the horrible darkness and the spikiness and the distortedness of the limbs and everything. It's like, oh yeah, that's what you'd imagine a nightmare to be looking like. Really, Kev O'Neill. Right, now this next one, this is a really memorable story. Mask by Brian Talbot. Does he do the art as well as the story? He's the only one that's mentioned on there, so maybe he's an artist as well. I know the name, but I'm terrible at remembering names and what they actually do. But yeah, this is a really cool story. I'm not even going to tell you what happens in it, so you can go and read it yourself. But at the end of the first part of it, I think it's only a 2-parter. At the end of the first part of it, you're like, oh my God, this is so possible. This is so real. This is like, ah. I said, I might have mistaken it for another story, but I don't think I am looking at the cover. But yeah, it's a really interesting story. I'm not going to tell you who the antagonist is, because I don't want to give you a spoiler, actually. I don't want to give you a spoiler on that one. But yeah, it's a really cool 2-parter by Brian Talbot from the Legends of the Dark Knight. It's one of those ones you finish the first one and you're like, oh, when's the next episode coming? When's the next issue coming out? I really want to read it. I want to know. You know that Batman's going to be okay, and the things that are posited in the story aren't going to turn out to be true. But it was so like, such a good, yeah, it gripped me. It totally gripped me. It may not grip you, but it certainly gripped me. Right, Sunset. It's another little one-part story. Batman's dealing with vampires by the looks of it. Hot House. Perhaps Poison Ivy. John Francis Moore and P. Craig Russell are the creative team here. Can't say I am familiar with them at all. Perhaps they didn't have a very long run and went on to other things. I'm not too sure. But that's just a two-parter. Quite interesting art. And then move on. Part 1 of 2, Stephen Grant and Sean McManus, Turf. Part 2 of Turf. Batman is punting that guy's head into next week. Poof, have some of that. Ooh, ouch. Alright, then we have Doug Moench back again. Moench? I don't know what his name is. Doug. It's Doug anyway. Is that Catman maybe on the cover there? A bit of a vicious looking Catman if it is. With those kind of claws. But you've got Catwoman and Batman. And in the foreground possibly Catman. But I get a feeling actually it wasn't Catman. I get a feeling it was like a serial killer or something that they were hunting down. But he had like a cat-like motif. But I don't think it was Catman. I could be mistaken though. It's been a long time since I've read these, and unless it was a really, really, really good story like that Masks one, then it wouldn't all have stuck in the old memory box. But whoever this guy is, this is Batman dealing with him in his inimitable fashion. Well, unless it's not really his inimitable fashion, it's after a fashion anyway. Batman seems to be got himself into deep water here, and this is I think it's a 4-parter. So have a look. I'll turn the next comic over and I'll let you know if it's a 4-parter or a 5-parter. That could be the denouement, as they say. Yeah, number 49, Heat. Number 4, Catwoman, Batman, and whoever this murderer is with a cat motif, facing off. We've got a nice number 50 here, nice chunky classic cover. Legends of the Dark Knight 50 from early September 1993. Images, Dennis O'Neill and Brett Evans. Brett B. Evans? I can't really see from that, it's not showing up very well. No, Brett Blevins. Brett Blevins. I don't remember that guy, but this is obviously, I'm assuming, his cover art. Pretty cool. Not so nice that he's Joker has poisoned a cat with his Joker venom. I don't know if the cat is dead in that. Quite often when you get Joker venom, you get killed, didn't you? So it may be a dead cat he's holding up there, which is one more reason to hate the Joker. Killing cats, the scoundrel. Right. Snitch. I think that's with Ragman. It certainly looks like Ragman there. Joe Kubert art. On the cover at least. Tau, 1 of 2. Alan Grant again. He's quite good, Alan Grant. I think he did a good long run on Batman. I'm pretty sure it was him who started out on the Demon arc that I really enjoy before Garth Ennis took it over. I think that was Alan Grant, and that is one of my favourite comics of all time, that Demon run. By both authors. I think I actually prefer the Alan Grant run on it, actually, because he had a much more humorous take on it. Garth Ennis is quite a humorous take, but he's a bit more adult humour, a bit more gutter humour maybe, whereas Alan Grant's is a lot more just, general fun for all the family humour. I don't know, that's how I'd put it anyway. I may be remembering it wrong anyway. It may not have been Alan Grant, but I think it was. Batman Legends of the Dark Knight Sanctum. Mike Mignola. Dan Raspler. Mike McMahon never could get on with his art when he was back in 2000 AD. I always found his art could be very hit and miss. His dread was alright, but then he did other things. He tends to get his proportions just look all weird and crazy. I could never really, like a realistically looking story like Batman is sort of supposed to be. He just looks like out of proportion. Look at his knees. His knees are like, no, I'm sorry, knees don't belong in that shape. It's an artistic style, but those knees are just they just belong to a different race of being, not a human. But yeah, obviously people like his art. He's definitely got a style that you can't miss. Really, he's got his own style. Look, even there, he's just like, ugh. But yeah, is that Batman's teeth there? Is he doing like a little toothy grimace there, like a rabbit? Or is it some kind of breather in or something like that? I'm not too sure. But yeah, Mike McMahon. His art is different. Not 100% my cup of tea. I like it in some things, not in others. Let's put it that way. Here you go. Storm. That's another little one issue wonder. Okay, next story arc is a 3-parter. Quarry, The Search. Night Quest. This is after Batman's had his back broken, isn't it? This is after the breaking of the bat at the hands of Bane. This is from April '94. Batman, he's got a cane there. It's not for effect. That's because he needs it. He's trying to search for this lady here. I think her name was Sondra. She was his healer for a while, and she got kidnapped by a step-brother, half-brother, adopted brother. Can't remember what it is. I think he was responsible for killing the step-parents, I think it was, or foster parents. Yeah, he's a nasty piece of work. And when he's got her beside him, he's able to kill people just with the power of their minds, but they have to be together. When she's on her own, she's doing her best she's got like a power and she's healing Bruce Wayne. Right, now part 2 looks like Alfred's had enough. Alfred is like, Bruce, I love you like a son. I can't have you running around the world in your condition. You're going to kill yourself at this rate on a fool's errand. I can't stand by while you go through this, blah, 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 blah. And he's gone, I'm sorry, Alfred, but I have to do this. I'm imagining that's the story. It wouldn't surprise me if I'm half right. Well, that little 3-part was by Dennis O'Neil. There you go. I know the name, but don't ask me to tell you whatever other stuff he's done. I think he's done practically everything, hasn't he, in DC? I've seen that name a lot. I think he not an editor at one point as well, Dennis O'Neil? Pretty sure. All right, then we come to another one-off. I think Dixon, Wagner and McCain. Devils and a Mignola cover. Mignola? I keep saying Mignola like it should be pronounced like. I don't know, maybe it should be. I don't know. Mignola. Let's just say Mignola. Let's pronounce the G. Let's not make it a silent G like he's French or something. Mignola. No. Mignola. God, I talk rubbish, don't I? Right, Climax, Night's End Part 10. Yeah, this is... Oh, I forgot that. That's Night's End Part 4. But all the Bat books were obviously crossing over at that time. This was after he managed to get his spine fixed by Sondra, I think her name was. Azrael has taken over as the Bat, and he's gone crazy, to be honest. He's gone total overkill. He's gone... punishing the criminals is more important than rescuing the innocents. He let someone die when he could have saved them at one point because he was too busy chasing down the villain of the piece. Batman's basically come back. He's healed up. I think Azrael Bat had already taken out Bane by this point, but Batman then comes and takes out Azrael Bat and says, "No, you've gone too far, Jean-Paul Valley. You have gone too far, my friend." And he's basically schooled him in being the Bat. He said, "You're bat shit crazy. You're not Batman," and he was right. All right, number 64, Terminus, a 1-part. The beginning of tomorrow. Batman Legends of the Dark Knight 0. I must make sure I remember to put the 0 in when it comes to putting the comics all down in the blog. Viewpoint. Featuring an all-star roster of comics talent. So I dare say that means there's lots of different smaller stories or pages are done by different artists, that kind of thing. Right, this is a nice number 65. This is the same, looks like the same artist who did a lot of the more sort of kiddie kind of friendly books. Can't remember what that run of comics was called. I think it was Dark Knight Adventures or something like that, or Batman Adventures, based on the old comic book, the cartoon series. But I think that was like one of the artists who used to work on that a fair bit. It's got that kind of style to it for me anyway. But that was quite a good story as well, actually. Go Insane. I think what happens, Batman disappears for a while, and with Batman no longer around, the Joker just goes sane, basically. He's like, oh, Batman is my reason for being, I'm the opposite of Batman. Batman's not here anymore. My reason to be a complete nutter is no longer here. I'm gonna go sane. And unfortunately for Joker and his lady love there, but fortunately for comic readers who want to read more about the Joker, it doesn't stick. He stays sane only until Batman Returns. DeMatteis, the story on this one. Staton and Mitchell, the rest of the creative team. Stephen Mitchell is out? Oh, Staton Mitchell says there on the cover. They work together then on the artwork. Not too sure. Oh yeah, probably colouring and drawing or something. And that one's initial JS and SM, so it's something Staton and something Mitchell. So yeah, those one's done colouring, I say one's done the artwork. Yes, Joker goes back to being insane. Alright. Criminals. Part 1. Another little look at an advert on the back here. Candyman, Farewell to the Flesh. Kind of gives you an age of the book when you think back how long ago that film was. Oh, I've just noticed this. This front cover is incorrectly printed. If you look at the front top edge there, you see it's cut off. The DC logo is cut down. The number 70 is cut down. And at the bottom there, you see a white line that looks like it should be the midpoint between like successive covers. And it's been incorrectly cut at the top edge. Yeah, that probably means it's worth less. Unless by some miracle, those kind of books are worth more. Maybe you're like, oh yes, it's an imperfection, but it's a rare imperfection. This will quadruple the price. Yeah, if anybody knows if that quadruples the price, let me know in the comments below. Although I fear that it does not. And if you look at the DC logo and this one, the placement of it, it's quite a lot of it. This whole section should be up here with the picture, and it's not. Right, Werewolf, part 1 of 3. Part 2. James Robertson and John Watkiss. It's rather a large werewolf. Yeah, and here, face to face, you can see it is a blinking huge werewolf. It's more like a were Solomon Grundy than a werewolf. Look at the size of it. 74. Engines, part 1 of 2 by Ted McKeever. Some interesting art there. Bit nightmarish. Part 2. Batman appears to be some kind of knight of God there. We have a 3-parter, The Sleeping. I think Batman gets concussed or knocked out completely or something like that, and this is like a journey through hell or something in his dreams. Not a bad story, I think. He's like in limbo, or he's in the plains of hell or something. Yeah, I can't recall what happens. I think it ends up being one of those things like it was all just a dream kind of things. I could be mistaken. Alright, then we seem to have a bit of a Christmas story, but it's from January 96. Favourite things. You see Batman's sort of burning inside a wreath of Christmas decorations there. And then we have Idols, part 1 of 3. Batman is not happy. That lady's shirt's got belfry on it, bats in a belfry. Is that some kind of bat idolisation, or has it got something to do with the bat being an idol for the Batman? Like a spirit kind of, I don't know, thing. It's the final part of the Idols crossover. You see there's a bat-masked character there. I get a feeling there was like a League of Assassins or some kind of warriors group once where they all had different masks. Like one had a monkey mask, one had a tiger mask. I get a feeling he might have crossed over with them when he was trying to get his mojo back after he'd had his back broken and he wanted to get back into, working with his newfound ability to move again. He was rusty, and I think he had a tie-in with some animal masked assassins. I think they were to do with Lady. No, what's her name? Lady Shiva, but I could be wrong. But whatever. Right, here's another two-parter. Infected, part 1 of 2. Warren Ellis and John McCrea. Batman's got a gun. I'm not quite sure what he's got in his other hand. Citadel. It's the one-parter. And we have a 3-part story, a conspiracy. There's a Roboros there, the snake eating its own tail. This symbol of eternity, isn't it? Conspiracy Part 2. Doug Moench again. And there's Part 3. The snake is eating his own tail. It's tattooed on the guy's head as well. Get the feeling it was some kind of cult, maybe magically based. And then we have a 2-parter, Clay, featuring Clayface 2, is it? I think that's Clayface 2. I think Clayface 1 was the actor who wore a clay mask. And I think it could be Clayface 3. And then there was... No, I think, yeah, I can't remember now. I think it could be... I know there was another Clayface who had a distorted, kind of melted kind of face, and he had acid hands. He'd touch people and they'd melt them, basically. I can't remember if that was Clayface 2 or Clayface 3. And then there's the other Clayface who was just a big bloke made out of clay who could shape himself wherever he liked. The denouement of the Clay 2-parter there. Clayface has turned himself to look like Man-Bat almost. Art by Kike Alcatena. Pretty cool art. I don't know if he did a lot of work in the comic field after this. Garth Ennis story. Freak Out. A 3-parter. Art by Will Simpson. And is this Batman having a freak out here? His eyes are red. He's salivating and sweating. Almost drooling. Has he been affected with... I think freak out was the name of guy who was like totally infused with like tons of LSD or something. I think he touches Batman and sends him on a trip of a lifetime. A trip that he was lucky to be able to get away from. And if you look at the cover of this is the guy, and he is away with the fairies. He's got sharks swimming in his mind. Yeah. Alright. Stories by Michael T. Gilbert. Batman, Legends of the Dark Knight. He's standing there in front of a backdrop of past stories. The covers from different old comics across his reign. Not too sure what the story is about inside. Maybe it is about a Batman comic that appears in the comics, maybe. I'm not too sure. It's a nice cover though, anyway. And then we have another three-parter, Lanning, Abnett and Williams, from 1997 we've got up to. Dirty Tricks, part 1 of 3. I don't recognise that character there. Some kind of tarot reading guy, perhaps. Part 2 of Dirty Tricks. Batman facing quite a few enemies there. But when has Batman not been outnumbered? He doesn't let that kind of thing phase him, does he? Part 3. I'm assuming it's the big dust up with whoever that mysterious, mystical guy is in the background there. It's got magic rings. This is part magician, part shaman, part charlatan, I bet. Okay, Steps, part 1 of 2. Steps and Arrows. And part 2 features not arrows, maybe they're crossbow bolts. That was number 99. And then we have another super duper thick special 100th issue, Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. And that looks like an Alex Ross cover by the looks of it. It's got that Ross painted touch, hasn't it? You look at the way the characters pop and look like they're taken from real life pictures. Yeah. If it's not him, then I'll eat my hat. I don't actually have a hat, but I'm not really going to eat my hat if it's not him. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's him. John Wagner and Carlos Esquerra. But that's not Esquerra's art on the cover, that's Nowlan. Nolan? Let's have a look at Esquerra's art inside, because he's one of the artists I really like, Carlos Esquerra. Back from his 2000 AD days. I've always liked his art. Kind of used to seeing it in black and white, actually, from the 2000 AD. But yeah, I just like his art, I don't know why. Maybe because I just liked it as a kid, but his characters always look like Clint Eastwood. Like, there was a kind of like I don't know, real kind of, I don't know, I didn't even describe it, to be honest. But you just know, when you know his art, you see it and you know it, and you're like, yeah, cool. And I don't know, it's just good. Maybe it just triggers like a childhood thing in me, where I remember seeing it as a youngster and really enjoying it with Judge Dredd and Strontium Dog and stuff like that. And so I see it and I just think, yeah, Carlos, he's the man. Okay, so this storyline is called Spook, a 3-parter. By spook, I'm assuming they're referring to like a Black Ops kind of spy kind of spook by the looks of it. And then we're into 98 now. Duty, 1 of 2. Looks like the Joker is stalking Gordon. Now, is this after he'd killed Gordon's wife? Whose name I still can't remember. Essen. Sarah Essen. That was her name, I think. I wouldn't put it past the Joker to taunt somebody after doing something as evil as that, because that's how Joker operates. You know what? I think the people of Gotham should stop calling him the Joker, because obviously that's what he wants to think of himself as. It's like ISIS, they want to be called whatever it is, and people are saying call him Daesh or whatever because they don't like that, because it means something less, I don't know, fanciful or less heroic sounding than their language or something. But like, rather than call him Joker, because he obviously thinks he's funny, I think they should change his name to Unfunny Bastard. If everyone says Unfunny Bastard's up to his tricks again, I think Joker will get really annoyed, and he might just quit. He might say, "That's it, I quit." But no, maybe not. But yeah, stop calling him Joker. Start calling him Unfunny Bastard, because he's a bastard and he isn't funny. So there you go. No more calling him Joker. Stalking, that what that story arc was called. Little two-part. I don't know the bloke or woman maybe on the red bike is. Some more interesting art here. Not my favourite kind of style again. Looks a bit like a McMahon kind of style, but I don't think it is him. In fact, I'm sure it's not him because it's signed Jabon, is that? Jabon, maybe? I can't really quite make out what the signature says. Just Jason, maybe? I'm not too sure. The Primal Riddle, this one is called. It's a three-parter. Engelhart, Abel and Gracie. But I'm pretty sure the cover's by someone who's what they call Jason, or... Let me just look inside this one, see if I can see. Does it say in the little blurb, cover art? No. Alright, this is the conclusion of it anyway. So that's the name there, signed, but I can't really make out who it's supposed to be. Right. 112. We're still in still in 1998 rather. Shipwreck, part 1 of 2. Looking through the porthole there on the ship. Hold on, was it? Shipwreck. I thought I said something different for a second. Shipwreck. Did I say shipwreck already? For some reason I think I said a different thing. I could have read it wrong or something. Right. Playground. The Darkness. Fear of Faith. Oh, here's No Man's Land. So yeah, Joker hadn't killed Sarah Essen at that point. Unless it was based after, because this is, like I say, it's Legend of the Dark Knight. It can kind of go backwards and forwards in time a bit, but they wouldn't have shown an after No Man's Land story until the actual No Man's Land story had come out, would they? No. So I think this is when No Man's Land, when Gotham was struck by an earthquake, and then it was basically cast aside by the rest of the United States. It was ostracised or fenced off or whatever, and left to their own devices. Can't think of the correct word to use for that. Right, Bread and Circuses. Still within the realm of No Man's Land, where Gotham is left to fend for itself. Balance. Looks like this era in the No Man's Land seems to be a series of little one-parters. Claim jumping. We've got a Brian Boland cover there. He's another one of those awesome artists. Assembly. Carrying on with the little one-part mini-stories told during No Man's Land. Power Play. Low Road to Golden Mountain. Is that Lynx that he's fighting there? Was that her name? Didn't she end up only having one eye at one point? Is this Low Road to Golden Mountain 1? But there doesn't seem to be a second part of it. Unless it was just, yeah, as I said, I think they're all just little one-parters from the No Man's Land in the Batman Legends of the Dark Knight books. So Underground Railroad number 1. And then we go on to another little story, Captain of Industry. And then we have The Ultimate Trust, or The Ultimate Betrayal. Batman's revealing his identity to someone by the looks of it. Endgame 1. I wonder if the other parts of this... Yeah, we keep saying 1. I wonder if the other parts carried on in like a different book or something. And then we're back to little story arcs of a few issues. It's got a 5-parter, The Arrow and the Bat. I think this might be going back to the first time that Batman and Green Arrow met each other. I get the feeling this is the story that they're telling in this little 5-parter. If I recall, O'Neill, Cariello and Ryan are the creative team on this. Green Arrow seems to have been bested by another arrow-wielding person. Looks like he's fighting Robin Hood. Robin Hood gone bad. Part 4. Hard to see what's going on in there. This looks a bit of a nightmare vision. And part 5. The Arrow and the Bat. A young Green Lantern teaming up with a pretty young Batman, I assume. Right, another 5-parter. Siege. Goodwin, Rogers and Wyasek is the creative team here. Looks like a prison riot. Or maybe it's Arkham. Okay, part 3 of Siege. We're in October 2000 now, are we? Yeah, October 2000. 134. Part 4. I'm not quite sure, I can't recall this story at all, what the siege might be about. It started looking like a prison riot, and I was thinking it's going to be like a siege in the prison, but then nothing else seemed to have been set in the prison. And then part 5 of 5. That guy looks vaguely familiar. I remember seeing him in it, but I can't remember what it's about. I think they might be a mercenary group. I think they're a mercenary group. The siege might have been on Wayne Manor, or they might have held somewhere where Batman was there as Bruce Wayne. I can't remember now. But that in the background there, is there not the Bat costume that his father Thomas originally dressed up as? A very old story. Okay, 137, Terror, part 1 of 5. Moench, I'll probably pronounce it differently again, Galassi and Palmiotti. Is that Hugo Strange emerging from the water there? Batman and Catwoman in one of those embraces where they don't know whether to punch each other or kiss each other. Probably both. They're kinky that way. Terror part 3 of 5. And here we see the Scarecrow in the background. Okay. Catwoman's in the clutches of the Scarecrow there. And finally, the last showdown. 5 parts. Part 5 of 5 of Terror. The conclusion. And then we have a 4-parter. Some are born great, others have greatness thrust upon them. The Demon Laughs. Part 1 of 4. Dixon Aparo and Cebollero. From 2001 we're in now. Has Joker usurped Ra's al Ghul in this one? I get a feeling that he's met up there. You know, Ra's, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Looks like they've just taken out Batman between them. Though I can't imagine that Ra's al Ghul will put up with the Joker for very long. Here you go. Oh no, this is Batman's punched him by the looks of it. Was it something I said? Oh, he's been shot. Shot in the chest. I reckon that was a working of Ra's al Ghul. I reckon he's had enough of Joker. Shot him to kill him. And Batman's found him struggling. Probably knowing Batman, probably saves his life. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, don't tell me, you sod. I've got a comic missing. Damn. Part 4 of this The Demon Laugh story. I haven't got it. It's not here. What a pain. So he jumped straight from part 3 of 4 to part 1 of another story called Bad. And I've got to make sure I don't write that I've got that comic in my blog. I think I might have to go through all my past blogs, find the little 1 or 2 missing comics and start thinking about picking them up. So Bad, part 1 of 3. Bad, part 2 of 3. And unless I've got another comic missing again, which I don't, thankfully, it's Bad, part 3 of 3. By Doug Moench and Barry Kitson. That bad guy looks pretty big. He's like a Solomon Grundy kind of figure. Maybe not as thick as Solomon Grundy though. But just as strong by the looks of him. Okay, Grimm is the next storyline. Part 1 of 5. A cool cover there. Does look quite grim, as if things have been left unsaid, or things need to be said, or some kind of schism has come between Batman and Robin. They don't look as if they're on the greatest of terms in that book. Alright, and then we have 150! Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. He doesn't say it's Grimm Part 2, but it must be. Interesting cover. Grimm Part 3 of 4. Is that Grimm as in Grimm's Fairy Tales? Looking at the adversary that Batman is dealing with there. It does kind of has a fairy tale look to it. Oh yeah. Part 4 of 5. I think she's some kind of like mad woman who kidnaps children and sort of becomes their nanny or granny or something like that. Old Mother Hubbard or something, I'm not too sure. And she takes orphans and steals kids. She's a bit of a toy man figure maybe. And she tries to convince Robin that Batman's no good for him. Stay with me, I'll be your granny. Yeah, but I don't think Robin would fall for that kind of nonsense. Right, and then we have a little 2-parter, Colossus. Quite a garish costume there. Complete with spiked mask, spurs, spiky knee pads. Looks like he's been outfitted by a fetish club. Either a fetish club or a wrestling attire shop. Maybe both. Fetish wrestlers. Blink. Part 1 of 3. I'm not sure if all of them, but most of them have got one word titles. I think it might be all of them. I'm not too sure. I can't think of any. Was there a couple of 2-word titles amongst the ones I've looked at already? Primarily, definitely single word titles though. There you go. We're in 2002. It's been going quite a while, this book. It did run for quite a few years, over 10 years I'd imagine. Surely, because it's 12 a year, isn't it? So 120 would be 10 years, wouldn't it? So we're on about 11th or 12th year of the book's run now. 160. If I could do maths, I could tell you how long it's been running for, but I can't. Maths is like, can't bother with it. Right, Loyalties Part 2 of 3, that one. Okay, the ending of the Loyalties storyline. Quite a thick looking book, that one, for some reason. It feels chunkier than the other ones. Maybe it's got different paper stock, or maybe it's got a bonus story in the back. Oh no, it's got some kind of insert, I think. Looking at the one I've got in my next one I've got in my hand here, it's got like a wrestling insert in it with wrestling merchandise from WWE. Right, All Tourism, Part 1 of 2. Joker being mad again. Is this the Mad Hatter maybe? I'm not too sure. Definitely the Joker. I'm thinking that could be the Dormouse there. It's definitely got a mad look to it. Alright, so I was going on about there being mostly 1-word titles, and here we have a 2-word title, so I was not correct. Don't Blink. We had a story called Blink a little while back, and now we have Don't Blink. Is it a continuation perhaps of the Blink storyline? Don't Blink. Can't recall the story at all. Batman saves girl from burning building. Right, and now we have another two-word title, Urban Legend. So, yeah, it's not all 1-word titles in Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. Story by Bill Willingham, art by Tom Fowler. I'm not sure if Tom Fowler's done the cover, I can't see the signature there. Interesting looking art. Irresistible, Part 1 of 3. Part 2. I hope Batman's got his batarangs with him and his grappling hooks, because otherwise he may be in trouble. Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, Irresistible, Part 3 of 3. And then looks like it's a one-off story. Testament, City of Fools. Oh, I don't know though, because that one's called Testament, City of Fools. Then we have another Testament, Betrayal of Brothers. I'm assuming it carries on the same story arc, which continues over into this one. Testament, The Hunted. And another Testament, Vulnerable. And I'm assuming this is the last of the Testament stories. Testament Shadow War. I don't recall that story arc at all. Not overly keen on the cover art of that little run, to be honest. It's all a bit messy and scratchy. I don't know how you describe it really. John Wagner did the story. Okay. Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, number 177, May 2004, guest starring Catwoman, although there is no sort of title on that cover giving you a story title. Maybe they're going away from that kind of thing, because on the next one, Friends or Foes, Catwoman again. I'm assuming it's carrying on. It's maybe it's gone away from the trend of having the title of the story on the front cover. It's a shame because I quite like that story, the way that was done actually. Okay, 179. So I don't know if it's a new story arc or not. It's got a new creative team, so maybe it has got a new. Yeah, because that too with the Catwoman there, Devin Grayson. And then we've got another guy here, AJ Lieberman. Got a title on the front there, Full Circle. But I think I preferred how it was before, the title of the story written on the front and letting you know what part of it was. So again, nothing on the front of this one. No story name. The Secret City Part 1. Okay. Okay, she's back. But who is she? Batwoman? Pre-Oracle, maybe? Before she had her spine severed by Joker's bullet? Oh, I think I remember this story actually now. I think it is an Oracle story, but it's like in a AI world inside a computer. So, okay. Then we got Batman Legends of the Dark Knight War Games, Act 1, Part 2 of 8. Okay. Carrying on with the War Games, Act 2, Part 2 of 8. That was when Stephanie, wasn't it, his new Robin, activated some War Games protocols that she found on Batman's computers. I think trying to impress him, and I think ending up getting herself killed by Black Mask, I think. Act 3. Right, then we're on to a 5-parter, Riddle Me That. If that's Riddler, he's looking a bit like Joker there. His pale skin. Riddle Me That, part 3 of 5. It looks like Batman's being riddled with bullets, at least his cape is anyway. Part 4 of 5. At least it's gone back to the part of having the title of the story on the front cover. 5 of 5. Right, and from a Riddler story, we move on with a Mr. Freeze story. Freeze's Final Rest. Sure, I heard or saw someone write online that he didn't start off as Mr. Freeze. He started off as Mr. Zero or something like that, or Dr. Zero. It wasn't originally called Mr. Freeze, apparently. I think in the Golden Age you had a different name. I'll look that up if I can remember. It's carrying on. They haven't got the... Freeze's Final Rest, part 1 of 2, but it doesn't have the name of the story on the cover of that one. Right, from Mr. Freeze, we move on with a 5-part story arc called Snow. Is Mr. Freeze responsible for the snow? It's a cute little snow globe there. And looks like a picture of Easter Island on the wall. Part 3 of 5 there. Snow Part 4. It does look a bit like Mr. Freeze. Perhaps a new Mr. Freeze? Perhaps in that story before it was talking about his being his last story or whatever, his final resting place. Maybe somebody got hold of his Mr. Freeze equipment or something. Oh look, we've got the new DC logo, I just noticed that. How long was that been running for? Looking back at the comics, that started August 2005. We've got July 2005 with the old DC Bullet, which I much prefer, and then August 2005 went over to the DC, I don't know, Cosmic Swirl, whatever you call that, Star Cluster, I don't know what you call that logo. Does it have a name? I think they've gone away from that again now anyway, haven't they? Got a brand new logo now, haven't they, with a sort of D, looks like it's peeling away from the C or vice versa. Alright, 198, Blaze of Glory, the Fuse. Blaze of Glory, the Fire. I'm assuming that's the last part of that story. Gotham Emergency, complete in this landmark issue. Yes, it's 200, issue 200. Wow, that's a heck of a lot of issues. It's more issues than the whole of Arkham Asylum. You know, thought they had some issues. Right, that's the other Clayface I was telling you about. I don't know if it's Clayface 2 or Clayface 3. The one whose touch melts people's flesh. I think it's Clayface 2. He used to have a shop mannequin as a girlfriend. The coldest case of all. Is it Mr. Freeze again? Someone with a dome on his head, which looks very Freeze-like. Looks like a new story, Mad Men of Gotham. Coming very close to the end of this run now. 205. The Man Who Drove Gotham Mad. Is that following on from that last story, The Madman of Gotham? And Guardian of Gotham. Same creative team, Justin Gray and Stephen Cummings, so I don't know if that's following on. And 207, A New Batman Adventure by Bruce Jones and Ariel Olivetti. Someone has sent him a finger. Seems to be a ring on the finger. I can't quite make out what it is. An emblem of some sort, maybe. I'm not too sure. Not a Superman logo, is it? I'm not too sure. Maybe it's the old DC Bullet logo. Batman has to hunt down what idiot decided to change it for this weird star swirl. Wow. Batman, Legends of the Dark Knight, fighting against some kind of ginormous man baby. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, he has got his work cut out for him. I dare say he has to grab him by the little finger and break his little finger to get loose. It's the only way I could think of Batman getting free there. Or some kind of gas or stun grenades or... Yeah, Batman knows. Batman, I ain't got to tell Batman how to do his job. He knows. Yeah, still having that annoying thing of not actually doing what the book started with, telling you the title of the story on the front cover. Right, the very last lot of these Legends of the Dark Knight books, 211. 212. 213. And the very last one, 214, Dark Knight versus Deadshot, March 2007. And that's the end of the run, and that's the end of this video. That's it, that's all the books I'm going to show you this week. Check out the blog in the link below if you're interested. And come back next week and I'll talk to you about some more of my comic books. Anyway, cheerio, thanks for watching, bye.